我们在终点线目击到最后抵达的车，居然是史上第一辆被进口到英国的汽车，更是参加今年伦敦到布莱顿古董车赛事最古老的车型。现在一起去看看这辆125岁的古董吧。
Thank you.
What happened on the way?
We had a few problems with the ignition, which causes the spark for the spark plug. So about halfway or 3/4 way, we lost spark, we lost ignition. We had to start getting into why that was the case. Managed to resolve the problem after half an hour, and back on the road. So.
But you managed to solve the problem.
We did.
So what time did you arrive?
We arrived, so the cutoff, the official cutoff is 4 p.m. We arrived, I think, half an hour or an hour after the official cutoff.
Still.
But from our point of view, we arrived, and that's what we were. That's what we wanted to do.
With such a vehicle here. So, tell us a bit more about.
Okay. So the car is a 1896 Lutzmann, which was built in Germany. The first car, obviously, in the world, 1886, and the first 10 years, very little happened in car manufacturing in the world. So it's effectively still very much a primitive, one of the first cars. It came into England in 1896 and went up to Manchester and spent most of its life in Manchester. It went through 3 or 4 owners in the UK, which is all well documented. So yeah, that was its beginning of the life.
How you?
It had actually then sold to Hawaii during the 80s, and after Hawaii, we ended up buying it back here in the UK. Have had it since.
How many years was it? Like you only.
We've owned the car now 30 years.
30 years.
Yes, yeah.
That's quite a long time. And how many times you've been participating in?
I've done the London to Brighton now most of my life, pretty much every year. So 30 years, just over 30.
Oh, and you managed to get to Brighton every single time?
Not always. There's usually breakdowns. So, but touch wood, this car is always made. Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about the mechanical wise of the vehicle here. Do you want to come to the back of the car?
It's on display here. It's all very open. So from working on, it's relatively straightforward. Something goes wrong, it's not like everything is too small to work on.
So it's running with petrol?
That's correct. It is an internal combustion. It's a 4-stroke engine. It's 2.5 litres. Obviously exposed flywheel and crankcase. It's very simple. There's no water pump on it. So it actually works from thermocyclic principle, which is that the hot water raises, and that's what's around the engine. So you have to constantly stop and maintain it. And so we stop every 5 to 10 miles. We top the oiler up here, and we will do the greases on the different parts of the engine. Either turn them down, or once they're turned down fully, we'll take them off, refill them with grease, repack them with grease, and put them in again. Top up the petrol and top up the water. And to start the car, you start the car by putting this over onto compression. Make sure the ignition is fully retarded. Flood the carburetor, and usually, with a bit of hope and a bit of luck, she fires up.
And one last question will be how to operate. Lots of people really interested in
So as
how
I say,
to operate.
to fire it up, you want it fully retarded.
Uh-huh.
So the ignition here, so this is in retard position, and then advance there. So you make sure it's in fully retarded.
Okay.
You flood the carburetor at the back. You give it a little bit of throttle, which is there. You adjust the mixture, which you probably want it in the middle. You then put on the ignition, although I like to turn it over once or twice just to prime the cylinder first of all, and then I flick on the ignition. I then crank it over. When she catches, I run over here. I then advance her up slightly, and maybe give her a little throttle or reduce the throttle depending on how she's behaving.
So it can be a one-man job, but
yes.
it's a little bit hard. Like,
It's nice if you've got another, but it can very easily be a one-man job.
Okay, okay. And tell me a bit about the controller here.
Okay, so here's your gears. First gear is forward, and second gear is behind, and you've then got your steering here up on the top. So your brakes here, one there, yeah.
Okay, and thank you so much for your time today. And again, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Brighton.
That's very
Thank
kind.
you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you. See you next time.
Excellent. Take care. All the best.